typical teenager. So, I got a question for you.
Yeah?
What's the hardest thing about adding and subtracting decimals and fractions?
The hardest part about adding and subtracting decimals is I have to face them every day in math class, and they scare me.
Hey, come back here! Come back here!
She sees him walking in a straight
That's not
line.
nice.
That's not really her style.
How do you use fractions and decimals?
Well, when I get a test back, if I got 21 out of 26, I use it to find out which grade I got. And then I go to my mom and break it to her that I got a B.
I think that would be a C, sweetie.
This is Joseph, and he works at Come and Go. So, I got a question.
What's your question?
How do you use decimals and fractions
Decimals and... Go ahead. Finish your question. I'm sorry.
in, like, the real world?
In the real world? How do you use decimals and fractions in the real world? Okay. So, at Come and Go, we have to know, when you count money back to people, we have to know whether it's change or in dollars, and to separate it, we have to know how to count it back, and and how to say it correctly. As far as fractions here, if you're working in the kitchen, if they ask you to do 1/3 of a cup of cheese on a pizza, then you have to do 1/3 of a cup of cheese on a pizza.
Okay.
Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do?
This is Deputy Park, and I have one question for you. So, how do you use decimals and fractions in the real world?
In the real world, well, like in police work,
Yeah.
we do accident reconstruction. If someone has a wreck, we have to be able to put it all back together. We have to use fractions, decimals. We go as far as calculus and trigonometry, because we have to be able to show how fast the car was going. Everything about the accident. When we get done, we've got to be able to redo the accident exactly like it happened. And math is a big part.
Yeah. So, what would be a tough challenge?
The whole portion of accident reconstruction, because when you get there, all you've got is a wreck. And a lot of times the people have died or they've gone to the hospital, so we don't know what happened. So we've got to take the skid marks, the distance, figure out all this stuff, and do fractions and decimals and all that to determine how fast this person was going when they hit whatever they hit. And that's getting speed on the pavement, asphalt, grass, dirt, no matter where that car went. We've got to be able to tell how fast it was going and put it all together to come up with one speed.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
This is Dave from Mojo Cycles, and I got one question for you.
Okay.
Actually, two. How do you use decimals and fractions?
Well, with us, we have a lot of things that we're doing on the bikes that require math and decimals and fractions. So for instance, a lot of times we have to measure the distance. If you look down here in the fork or in the dropout, we have to be able to measure those because all the different kinds of bikes have different measurements. So we have to be able to do that, and we have to use math and decimals and fractions all the time on that. We have different sizes for the handlebars. So all the different things that go into putting a bike together or building a bike require a lot of different math. And using that helps us to make sure that we get everything right the first time and that we don't have anything loose or anything not working.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people will want us to cut down handlebars, and we have to do different measurements to get everything right. So So it's something we do on a daily basis, and you may not think that you have to have math for a bike shop.
You can run from math, but you can't hide.